I wanted to talk about this news story that I read out of Australia. Does it involve a murder? Yes. Is it funny? We'll see.
Fair.
Okay, you test. Will this be horrific or silly?
There's enough juicy nuggets in here to where I think it'll be fun.
Okay.
46-year-old Natasha Beth Darcy was found guilty of the 2017 murder of her partner, sheep farmer Matthew Dunbar, and was sentenced to 40 years in prison by an Australian court. Mm-hmm. Darcy knocked out her wealthy boyfriend, so he's a wealthy farmer, which we don't have those in America, but Australia, damn it, they pay you for them sheeps. Knocked him out with a sedative-infused milkshake blended in a NutriBullet before gassing him by pumping helium into a plastic bag over his head.
Got him with the fentanyl milkshake.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's the rough part. The rest is fun. So, she then attempted to cover up the murder by making it look like a suicide. She offered a friend $14,000 in cash to say that her lover had been talking a lot about suicide recently.
Have you heard about this thing called suicide? You can just kill yourself.
No. She's like calling her friend and like, hey, I'll pay you $14,000 to say the old ball and chain was talking a lot about how he hated his life. So that unfortunately backfired when the erstwhile friend turned the letter over to authorities. And this is from the letter. Quote, I was watching an episode of Frasier.
There's like too much pressure for this person immediately. What do I do?
Oh, no.
I watch Frasier.
No, this is her. This is her letter to the person. This is the murderer writing to the person about covering it up.
Okay.
I was watching an episode of Frasier when Niles needed him to lie in court and say that he didn't know Niles was in love with Daphne, and it got me thinking. If only I could ask somebody to say that Matthew told them he was planning his suicide, maybe a few or several days before he passed. So this is the proposition.
One of many murders inspired by Frasier.
Yeah, which this is like proof that, that should never give anybody Netflix. We need not be revisiting these old TV shows. That's always my favorite thing at open mics, when people are just suddenly talking about some shit from like 1995. You're like, they just added that to Netflix, I bet. That's why you're bringing this up.
I mean, they're not going to make anything new. You just repackage the old stuff.
Yeah, you can make whole new murders. So the sentencing judge, Julia Longerin, ruled that the murder was devised so that she would inherit her boyfriend's $2.4 million villa after she coerced him into revising his will. So she got him to change the will and then just immediately killed the guy. The judge also reminded Darcy that her sentence reflected her life as a serial domestic abuser who had tried unsuccessfully to kill her previous husband. Quote, I cannot find that the offender is a person of good character given her criminal record, which included sentences of imprisonment for sedating her estranged husband, Colin Crossman. So she did this to another dude who lived, but here's the fucking crazy part. So she hit him on the head with a hammer while he slept and lit the house on fire. And that guy lived. Weirdly, the guy that she tried to kill was the responding police officer to the next murder that she did.
If this lady can date again after doing that, it's like there's hope for people.
But that means this town is so fucking small that the cop that shows up to the murder was the previous guy she tried to kill.
Now, what year was this again?
2017 is when this went down. But
so they had the internet and they had the tools.
Oh yeah.
They had the tools to meet other people.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I was like, if
Tinder
this was the
around.
90s or the 80s, I could understand.
Yeah.
Because it was kind of those were kind of the times where, well, you dated people that were in your town or on your block, and that was it. So I could see that first responder be like, oh wow, I've never seen you before. So
you again.
So, and this is an incredible sentence. Darcy, who was on probation for the hammer and arson crimes against her ex when she met Dunbar online in 2014. Darcy also had a peculiar internet search history, which the prosecutor in her trial said included
Goods from the Woods reviews.
Yeah.
Maybe she found them.
So yeah, these are the search terms that she looked up, and I'm going to defer to Carter's Australian accent to please read her search
horribly
terms.
offensive.
Oh, we love it. We love it.
All right. Let's get right and proper and sit up here. How to commit murder.
Just get right to it.
Come on, internet. Do your stuff. All right. Undetectable poisons. Toxic wild plants that look like food. Spider venom. Poisonous mushrooms. Stabbed in the brain. Plastic bag suffocation. Does helium show up in an autopsy? Suicide poem.
That's my favorite because that means she was like, well, he's got to leave a suicide note, but I don't want to do the creative writing myself. I'm going to find a poem that he could leave behind, perhaps as evidence to hide my felonious activity.
Is house a crime scene after suicide?
How long are these cops going to be around? You know, I don't want them hanging around asking questions.
Wow. I hope she cleared her search history.
No, she didn't. No, this was read
that's
in
right, I guess
court.
she didn't.
This was read in court.
How long after suicide is house a crime scene? I wonder if there's an answer. Look it up on your computer.
yeah.
Can police see deleted text messages?
It turns out, yes, they can.
If police have your mobile, can they see websites?
This is
Can they?
this
What
is-
does that even mean?
So it means if you're searching for like what mushrooms don't taste like anything to put in the NutriBullet, can the police look at that? And again, the answer is yes.
And finally, how long do internet providers keep history?
Forever.
Turns out forever.
That last one clearly helped lead to her undoing. So the judge said that Darcy's premeditation was chilling.
Can you imagine like the spiraling? Like, because all those were searched in a 20-minute period.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know. It seems like she planned this one out, you know, because the other one was a hammer and she burned the house down. This one she was trying to make it a little bit easier. So the judge said that Darcy's premeditation was chilling, quote, as time passed, emotional abuse and sneaky physical attacks escalated into a more focused and foolproof method to achieve the outcome she desired. Darcy, who was never admitted to murdering her boyfriend, claimed that he suffered from depression and he threatened to kill himself many times because he was closeted gay. Her lawyer, Janet Manuel, admitted, so like even though he's like dead, she's like, no, it's because he was like
Also,
he was
he's
closeted.
gay.
Yeah,
That makes it better. Jesus Christ.
I'm thinking of all the esoteric questions I've Googled.
I know. That's what this made me think
She's
of.
probably in jail. Like, maybe if I use that suicide haiku instead of could have gotten away with this.
So anyway, so she used her last appeal and now she's going to jail. So anyway,
In the height of the pandemic, did you ask Google an esoteric question?
what's the weirdest thing?
The weirdest thing? I don't know. Like, it's got to be at a very lonely moment.
Yeah, I didn't.
It usually elicits like a Reddit response.
Yeah.
Because it's always like something like, does Twitter suck? And then you look at it, and it's like, Twitter does indeed suck. By some guy on Reddit.
I remember having one that I still didn't get answered definitively, and we do have men and women of science, the people of science that listen to this show. So tell me, I don't think I got a straight answer on this. Do you pee more in the winter? Because
maybe that's like ice cream sales in summer kind of question. Like that, there's another answer that leads to people peeing more in the winter.
Right? Yeah, it's because they're drinking in their homes all night
Right.
and all day. Yeah,
Right.
But yeah, that was always mine because I'm like, you're not sweating, so you're not using as much water. It stands to reason that you would have to pee more because you're not sweating. And
I've never thought about it.
These are things. These are things that like you like Google. And then you look outside, you're like, am I ever going to go outside again? Am I going to die with these roommates? Do you pee more in winter? I wonder. How many times can one masturbate in one day?
So that's the news from down under.
Crikey.
Crikey.
Talk about a murder.
Yeah, that one I just saw the search history. I was like, well, this is perfect.
You've been caught by the search history. Terrible state of affairs.